and welcome to a nice Saturday morning chat with Nick, that's me, and Ethan, that's him, here on the Stranded Sports YouTube channel. We're very happy to be here, to be making content once again. Real life is busy. Ethan doesn't know that he's still a youngin', he's still in school. But I, for one, am always busy, always tired. Got to get the Post Malone tattoo under my eyeballs. Are they above his eyebrows or under his eyeballs?
I think they're under. No, they're under. They're definitely
I feel like
under.
under makes more sense, but
Yeah.
some part of me thought that they might be above too. Anyway, glad to be here. I don't know if we need to say this. They're not a sponsor, but we are powered. I'm not even be able. You're not be able to see what I'm pointing at. Powered by StreamYard. Not a sponsor. It's just there, so I feel like we need to address that. It's on the screen. But thank you to everyone who is not tuning in right now or who will tune in later. But yeah, really excited to be here. But as you can see in the bottom corner, Ethan, how are we doing?
Good. I'm excited to finally get back and start making content for Stranded. It's been a while, been a couple of weeks for me. So excited to get back and start making content and, as well, talk some college football and some NFL picks for tomorrow.
Absolutely, Ethan. Really excited. The football season's great. I know it's really cliche to go, it's like Christmas, but it is the truth. I don't think that there's any sort of lying going on when people say that NFL college football season's like Christmas. These last 2 weeks, my mental health has boosted to the moon because of football being back in my life. What can you say something similar? Can you say this same thing has happened to you?
Oh, definitely. And, especially after the year we had last year with, not being able to have as many fans in the stands and then flipping the page and turning the page until this year where you saw, Virginia Tech in Lane Stadium, that first game, like 2 Fridays ago, like that was electric. That was what we were craving and looking for the past 2 years. And, you kind of feel that sigh of relief and that weight come off your chest, and then with the NFL last weekend, last Sunday, with those games and seeing all the fans, seeing all the tailgates, seeing all of that, some sort of normalcy coming back and returning into our lives.
And Cinderella stories as well, like Bishop Sycamore. I mean, what a great opportunity for a team like that to get national attention. Now, those dang Bishop Sycamore, their nickname that I don't even remember. We're going to find out who Bishop Sycamore is one day, I guess. But I have a feeling today is not that day. We're going to get right into things now with our games to watch, of course, consisting of NFL, college football, baseball, WNBA, curling. Doesn't really matter. If you're watching it this weekend, we're going to talk about it. I'll start with my first game, Ethan Morrison, which is going to be number 10 Penn State against number 22 Auburn, 7:30
Shocker.
on ABC. I got friends down in Happy Valley, baby. Everyone's excited. Going to be 107,000 fans strong. Going to be a whiteout. It's going to look like Christmas, as we alluded to earlier. College football, NFL football brings in that Christmas-like atmosphere. It's going to be a whiteout in Happy Valley a couple months before we should be expecting any actual snow. But that atmosphere is going to be great. Hoping to watch it with some friends on the back porch, bring the TV outside, as every good football fan group does. I think that's what our plans are for the evening. So really excited for that to happen. Ethan, do you have any thoughts on this game? Is this a game you're going to watch?
Oh, it's definitely a game that I will be tuning into. Just like that atmosphere is just going to be insane. And then, SEC and Big Ten, they normally don't match up in non-conference games in the regular season. So, it's going to be interesting to see how Auburn adjusts to the, that type of atmosphere. It's probably something they've never experienced on the road.
I agree, Ethan. And, you got Bo Nix, who's, I think, was very highly touted coming out of high school. I think started as a true freshman. I don't think he was a redshirt. I think he was a true freshman. Believe it or not, I don't follow Auburn football super closely unless they're up in the top 5 or so, which they're obviously not, ranked 22nd right now. They have to earn my respect. But Bo Nix is a guy I've always rooted for just because I know they put a lot on his shoulders. Maybe he'll come into his own finally now with a little bit of experience under his belt now. I think 2 seasons. So really excited to see what he can do as an upperclassman, and what better environment to prove yourself in to the coaching staff, to your fan base, maybe to future NFL scouts, than by going into Happy Valley, who hasn't had a crowd in it for a year and a half. Well, probably more than a year and a half, to be honest with you. And, go in there, shut down a red-hot Penn State team that started with a big win over Wisconsin. And, I think it's a great opportunity for him. Sean Clifford, veteran quarterback there at Penn State, really building his confidence. Has some real good playmakers on that team again this season, defensively as well, guys like Joey Porter Jr. I think you might know of Joey Porter Sr.,
Yep.
the Steelers
Yep.
legend, Joey Porter Sr., one of the first trading cards I ever owned. Felt so cool to finally pull a Steelers card out of a pack. Joey Porter right there. That's a little Nick side tangent no one cares about. But yeah, really excited to see what that game is going to bring.
Mhm. Well, one of my games to watch this week is Alabama Crimson Tide versus the Florida Gators, 1 versus 11, 3:30 on CBS. It's the matchup that a lot of people are really looking for. You got Florida, who coming into the season, they're now 2-0. They've played two teams that they beat pretty easily, which they should have. So it's going to be a nice test for them. They got the home crowd behind them. Alabama's going to be Alabama, so it's going to be a nice matchup to see how Alabama comes into Gainesville and see if they can take that one out. Nick, do you have any thoughts on this game?
Really excited for this game. Love these conference matchups here, especially Alabama getting tested on the road this early against a Florida team and not ITT Tech State, like they usually play non-conference games in the beginning of their season. Play a bunch of nobodies. I remember when the Citadel gave them trouble a few years ago. Not to discredit Alabama, they whoop everyone when it comes playoff time about 9 out of 10 times. Not trying to discredit them at all, but nice to see them get a challenge this early into the season. We saw what they did against Miami earlier this season. They ballywhopped them 44-13, I think it was. We're going to get into this game a little bit more when I talk about my betting for the weekend. But yeah, definitely excited. Florida, always loved alligators growing up, favorite animals. So Florida's always had a soft spot in my heart. Really excited to see if they can shock anybody down there in Tallahassee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it should be a great game. Nick, do you have any more games, college
I
games?
do. I have two
Yeah.
more. Well, not college, but I do have two more games to watch
Okay,
this
I
weekend.
have one more college game this weekend.
Well, then why
I
don't you
do.
can have the honors then, young sir?
Okay, thank you. Let's go. Let's go to the late window. BYU, Arizona State, number 23 versus number 19. That should be a good game. Arizona State's favorite on the road, 3.5 points. It's just one of those games where they're two smaller football schools that I think people are going to sleep on and probably fall asleep after that Penn State game. So I think that's going to be a good game to watch, and should be a close one.
I agree. I love those late games, college football wise. Those Mountain Time Zone games after the ABC game wraps up, and you're like, oh my gosh, I have 3 more hours of football if I really want it. So definitely interested to see what Brigham Young can do in that one. And speaking of BYU, my second game to watch, the Jets and the Patriots. Zach Wilson, BYU product,
Whoa.
taking on Mac Jones, Alabama product. It's almost like you planned that for
What
me,
a
Ethan, that
transition.
both of their recently drafted
Wow.
quarterbacks are going to match up here. Love this new divisional layout in terms of new quarterbacks coming in. Zach Wilson got a lot of hate last week, a lot of drop balls, didn't have time to throw the ball. I think he got way too much criticism given what he's working with up there in New York and East Rutherford. I can't believe I just botched that. That's not even a hard word to say. Mac Jones, obviously, Alabama quarterbacks traditionally don't do well in the NFL. As weird as it is to say. I saw a stat, can't remember the timeline, but it's been a very long time since an Alabama starting quarterback has won a playoff game in the NFL. Mac Jones, Tua, obviously, a couple of them in there right now. Unfortunately, AJ McCarron, a player that I loved to hate growing up, he never did much in the NFL. He's a career backup, still is in the league though, so respect to him. But interested to see which one of these quarterbacks can win this first divisional matchup. Really intrigued which one steps up here with a little bit of spotlight on him since it is a divisional game. I think maybe a little more pressure than week 1 even now. Because that division and who's going to be leading it kind of up for grabs. Yeah, Josh Allen's established, but you got 3 other young guns who are, vying for that spot, who can be the heir to their respective thrones. Obviously, Miami and New York, there wasn't much to take over from. They have not done well in the last half decade or more, but New England, Mac Jones still maybe the heir to Tom Brady's throne. Let's see what happens. Let's see who steps up and becomes the real next generational quarterback for the next decade for these respective teams. And it all starts on Sunday.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, somebody brought this up last week on one of the telecasts, and they were like, look at the quarterbacks in the AFC East right now. Look how young they are. So if they all establish themselves as star quarterbacks for their respective teams, that division's going to be loaded. Like you've seen it already. I mean, if the Dolphins add a few more pieces, and also the Jets, that division's going to be loaded and stacked. And it's going to be one of the most competitive divisions in football down the road. But speaking of the game that you were talking about, the Jets and Patriots, I still think that's going to be a really good game to watch. The Jets, are still the Jets. So, you don't really know
They're
how they're
still
going to
the butt
perform.
fumble team.
They are. So, I don't have any expectations going into this game, really. They lost a close one to Carolina, who, am I correct in saying this? They thought Carolina would be a good sleeper team this year.
Probably.
They kept Carolina close. Wilson was 20 for 37 for 258 yards with 2 touchdowns.
And it was Sam Darnold's revenge game.
Yes.
It was written in stone. Sam Darnold's revenge game was week 1.
And yeah,
that game wasn't about Zach Wilson.
No, it was not. No, the storyline was not on Zach Wilson. It was all on Sam Darnold, and Sam Darnold did play considerably well compared to how he played with New York in the prior years. But I still think it's going to be a close game. Mac Jones gets his first start in front of the Patriots faithful in Foxborough, so it should be a great game to watch. Other than the Pittsburgh Steelers, who I will get into later.
Oh, Ethan with the little teaser from Ethan there. But yeah, as you kind of mentioned there, I liked when you brought up, not much pressure. Obviously, there's pressure on the quarterbacks, but it's a good casual viewing game, I think. You can just say, I'm going to watch these two young guns battle it out, maybe find a new, I don't want to say favorite player because neither one of these teams will ever have someone who I call my favorite player on it because I hate this whole division just by standard of being a Steelers fan. But you look at Zach Wilson, you look at Mac Jones, and you say, wow, 2 young quarterbacks coming in. Both of them are pretty likable from what I understand. I haven't really heard much controversy with either of them off the field. 2 young guys just wanted to prove that they can take over their respective franchise. And I think Sunday's matchup, as we both have said a few times, just really gives them that chance. And I think as a viewer, you're just going to have fun with it watching this one. If they absolutely suck, then we laugh. If they're good, then we get treated to maybe another decade of good football between the two, playing twice a year.
Oh, definitely. Well, I had to do it to you. One of my games to watch is the Pittsburgh Steelers. I almost said Oakland, but Las Vegas Raiders.
They're still Oakland.
They are still Oakland.
They'll be Oakland for at least the next 5 years to me.
Yes. I'm going to this game, so that's why I had to pick it. It's going to be rowdy, especially after the Steelers went into Buffalo. Well, not even Buffalo, Orchard Park, New York, and beat the Buffalo Bills after the Bills' second half collapse. Talk about talk about the defense, who everyone was sleeping on in the offseason. They're like, oh, they lost Bud Dupree. They've lost this. They've lost that. TJ Watt. Oh, he's sitting out training camp. Excuse me. What are they doing? Why are they waiting to sign him? This and that. So much distractions. Juju, Chase Claypool. Oh, TikTok this, TikTok that. Shut up. Football is back. The Steelers defense, arguably, they haven't changed, in my opinion. They're the same Pittsburgh defense we saw last year. Might be even better with Melvin Ingram on the outside. Joe Schobert as well. Oh, my gosh. I am so happy, especially last week, proving everyone wrong. How about all those expert picks?
Oh, no.
Look at me now. Look at this team. Yes, the offensive line struggled. Yes, Ben struggled in the first half, but he made the plays. It's just going to be like last year. If the defense can hold on and the Ben makes a few throws and they stick with running the ball as well, and they're a little bit more, balanced. That's the word I was looking for. Balanced. They're going to be all right. Now this Oakland Raiders team, they have some swagger coming into this game after beating Baltimore on their in Vegas
Yeah, not
last
Oakland.
Monday.
Be careful there.
Not Oakland,
I saw you
in Vegas.
hesitate.
Almost, but I didn't, Nick. I didn't. They look good. They look good. You know, Darren Walker. I hope I got that name right. Did I? Please tell me I got that
Waller?
name. Waller. That fuck me. Yeah, that's
I
what
will
that's
not
the
do
name.
that.
God damn it. So yeah, that yeah, he was good. Also, that front four for Oakland, that was strong for them against the Baltimore Ravens on Monday night. So something the Steelers have to look out for. Steelers got a young offensive line, but just get enough to get done on the offensive side. Defense can hold it down for them in that game. So I think the Steelers are going to take that one. It's going to be a great game, great atmosphere. First time with full capacity in Pittsburgh since 2019. So I can't be more excited.
Are you going to cry when they play Renegade?
I think I will faint. Yes, I will cry and then faint when they play
Wow.
Renegade.
Uh,
Yes.
I love the homerism you're showing by
Thank
picking
you.
Pittsburgh. I really
Thank
enjoy
you.
that.
Oh,
Also,
I'm also going to bet on the Steelers spread 6.5.
okay.
Yep. Just want to put that in there.
No Josh Jacobs for the Raiders, but
O-line's also depleted for them too.
And I think that there's a lot to see here in this game. Someone with a Hitler profile picture is commenting Iraq in oh my, I don't know
Oh
what
my
that
God.
is. That's nobody look at the chat. I don't know what that is. I'm afraid we're being compromised by ISIS right now. Oh my lord.
God.
I'm not going to address that. That does not have anything to do with the thoughts and opinions of Stranded Sports, whatever is in the comment section right now. I greatly apologize to anyone who might be offended by that content.
And there's a deep drive by Castellanos to make it a 4-0 ball
Yeah,
game.
I think though this Steelers game, you could say, oh, Ethan and Nick are being homers, saying they want to watch this game. Wah. Okay, first of all, I bleed the black and gold, baby. I want to watch the Steelers. If your team's not your game to watch each week, then you're not a fan. You're a poser. A big poser. Not Mike Posner, Ponsner, whatever his name is. We're not popping pills in Ibiza. We're going down to the Berg and we're going to watch the Steelers. All right? I should have said Steelers, but okay, whatever. Listen, going into this season, anyone who thought Pittsburgh's offense was suddenly going to just flip a switch like it's a light switch, you're going to bed, flickety flick, Nosferatu, who's playing with the light, anyone who thought they were just going to walk in with a new offense and say, oh, they got Najee Harris and drafted a couple linemen, oh, everything's fixed. I think that's ignorant to think that. Going into this season, the key to the Steelers was replacing those who were lost on the defense. They did that, as you mentioned. They did a justifiable job of doing that. They moved cap around. They invested in the future. The defense, barring injury, barring off-field controversy, the defense will be what makes the Steelers winners or losers. The offense needs to give 7 out of 10 performances, and they should be fine if the defense continues to play the way they've been playing. The Steelers' offense needs to be consistently passable, and they will be fine. They cannot be awful. They cannot do what they did in the first half against Buffalo. I guess would be the best way to put that. They cannot do nothing. They cannot be punting from within the 10-yard line. They need to work with the defense. They cannot wait for the defense to give them every opportunity. Not like 2019 when they had the Duck and the Mason. They can't be waiting for the defenses to create chances. They need to create some of their own. This defense is Super Bowl caliber, even after losing Bud Dupree. Still Super Bowl caliber. The offense needs to hold up their end of the bargain. And as I said, if they do a little bit above average, that should be enough to ride the defense to at least a playoff run. I'm not saying they're going to go to the FC Championship playing the way they did against Buffalo. But if you get the offense to play better than they played the first 30 minutes of the game on Sunday, if they play like they did in the second half, that's a team that can at least make the playoffs, which some of the same experts that all had the Buffalo Bills logo near their pick for the week, the same experts that picked Pittsburgh to lose that game, they'll be shoving it if Pittsburgh continues to play like they did in the second half. Because all of those experts that said they wouldn't make the playoffs, they're going to be wrong if the defense plays that way again and the offense plays the way they played in the second half. That's, I guess, the long way of getting to that point.
Yeah, I mean, and Nick, you're completely right. They're not going to win games with the way the offense played in the first half. Even if they don't score on drives tomorrow or next week or the weeks to come, even if they don't score or make or get points on the drive, kick a field goal, score a touchdown, whatever. That's how you score in football. I don't know why I'm saying that. But if they just move the ball, thank you for that the headline change. If they just move the ball and keep the defense off the field for a good amount of time and they work the ball down the field and are able to pin whoever they play deep in their own territory, they're going to be fine. Because at some point, Ben's going to connect with someone and, it's going to be fine. They're going to be able to make plays. Ben made throws in that second half where we're like, okay, he's going to be all right. First half, he struggled with making good throws. He was leaving the ball on the backside, the wrong side of guys. He didn't look good. As long as the offensive line, who showed flashes of being competent and being able to be a force and a big good rock for Najee Harris to maneuver around and find some holes. We saw some flashes of that. We didn't see it wasn't great by any means, but it was still good enough where Najee was able to break through a couple of times. So we're going to see this offense because we're still working with they're still working with the new offensive coordinator in Matt Canada. There's going to be some growing pains in this. So as long as everything keeps improving, Ben starts to get into a rhythm, starts to find his own with this new offense, and then the offensive line slowly improving throughout the season. We're going to see Najee Harris, blossom into the guy that, Steeler fans wanted when they drafted him, a hard-nosed runner that is able to find holes and break tackles, which we've already seen. I mean, he's gotten beat around a couple of times in Buffalo, but, as long as he keeps running the ball, he's going to find some holes.
And one thing we haven't mentioned, Deontay Johnson, that touchdown reception he had was incredible. If that is another viable target for Ben to go to, I mean, he was their leading receiver last year, and that was with a multitude of drops. Almost every game, a multitude of drops. He's able to make catches like he made in the end zone, get that big touchdown last week. That's three guys that are just deadly. I think a lot of people right now, I think the Steelers actually, let's change this thought. Steelers might be the most overhated team in the NFL just because they're the Steelers and their undefeated run to start last season against teams that were very eh. You look at Super Bowl caliber defense. They just drafted, in my opinion, the best running back in the draft. ETN, maybe, but we're not going to know because of his injury.
Right.
But you look at their receivers, Claypool and Juju. People hate on them because of TikTok. Maybe Juju's regressed a bit now that AB's gone. Maybe a lot of his early success his first year or two was because there was AB. And so that left him open. He made plays. But he still makes some catches when he needs. Right. Claypool, fantastic pick in last year's draft, coming into his own. People hate him because of TikTok. You got Eric Ebron. Heart palpitations every time he catches.
Hang on to it.
But that's okay because they got big Pat Freiermuth from Penn State.
Did you see his block?
I did. I did see his block. That's a fantastic tight end. Heath Miller vibes I'm getting from him. And it's been 1 week. Just a reliable guy. He's not going to go to the Pro Bowl, but you give him the ball, he's going to catch the damn thing. He's not going to fumble it like Eric Ebron, who I like Eric Ebron. I almost said Eric Erie. That's where I'm living for now. But, there's a lot of good skill players on this Steelers team. They need the line to improve. They need Ben to be sharp and not show his age. Those are two obviously big ifs, two big asterisks next to the Steelers' name. But this is a team that if they do end up being good, I don't think it should be that surprising.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything that you just said about them being the most hated team. in football because, I mean, there's so much to hate about, I mean, just everything off the field. Like, it's just all of that. They're still a great team on the field, and that's why people are going to be like, oh, God damn it, the Steelers are winning again. Oh, let's hate on them some more. They're playing nobody. They played the Buffalo Bills. They played the Buffalo Bills last week. I mean, there's something right there in itself. Like, you got to give them some respect for going in Buffalo last week and beating. People were calling them Super Bowl contenders. They were picking them to be in the Super Bowl.
I
Nick did.
did. Did I
Nick
buy the
did.
hype? Am I just someone who hops on hype trains?
No,
I
Nick.
lost
No.
sleep over that thought this week.
But like right there, that's one good example of like the Steelers are, do I want to say this? I mean, I might get heat for this legit.
Am I social clipping this?
You can. You can if you want. I think they are legit. Everything that we just said is completely within reason. It's in reason, completely in reason. Look, I'm going to repeat myself again. As long as Ben makes the throws late in games and remains the clutch guy that he has been his whole career, they're going to be fine. Yeah, he's not going to make some of the throws he made 4 or 5 years ago, but still, as long as he does enough to get by and the defense is stout, which I know they will be with that rotation, they have guys to use at their disposal. They have Highsmith. They have Ingram. They have Watt. They have all of those guys. Even the secondary was good on Sunday. Look at, who was it? Nelson, right? Am I right? He made some good pass deflections. They were swarming. They were swarming on the Bills receiving court. Look at how much they held Diggs to. They kept Diggs in check that whole entire game. And, that was the thing that everyone was questioning last year was the Steelers secondary. We know that front seven is amazing. Look, they didn't even have to blitz Josh Allen on Sunday. Twice. They only blitzed him twice. That's a great defense where you can get pressure on that quarterback without having to blitz. And that is why I think as long as that defense is hold strong and barring any major injuries, they're going to be fine. With Ben making throws late in the game, like we saw him do in the second half on Sunday against the Bills, they're going to be all right. They're going to be all right.
Steven Nelson is on the Eagles now. He's one of the pieces they lost, but I didn't want to get in your way.
Who was it then?
I don't know. Sutton?
God damn it.
Edmonds?
No, it definitely wasn't Edmonds.
Was it James Pierre made a couple plays?
Pierre did make one play that was really good. God, I'm rolling in my grave right now.
No, you're good. Someone else who's rolling in their grave might be the Baltimore Ravens. Injuries continue to mount, but that doesn't stop them in Kansas City Sunday Night Football from being my last game to watch. Not going to get into this one that much. Lamar, Mahomes should be a good game, especially after the Chiefs had a scare against Cleveland week 1. Baltimore got to get on the winning track soon, prove that these injuries aren't going to get in your way. Got to win games like this one. Obviously, that's a tall task to say, oh, you got to beat the Chiefs. You got to beat the Chiefs to show. You got to show something in this game. Win or lose, you got to show something. Compete with them. Show that these injuries, you can still hang with the best team in the conference. That's all I have to say about this one. We spent a little longer than I planned on talking about the Steelers there, but now it's time. Bets of the weekend. I'll start. Notre Dame barely beat Toledo. I'm a Notre Dame fan, so I'm pissed off at them. So this is an emotion-based bet, one of the worst bets you can place, but a bet I believe in nonetheless. Purdue covers 7.5 at South Bend.
Oh, wow, Nick. You're going Purdue, 7.5.
I'm
covering
Purdue
on the road.
Under the spread of 7. Notre Dame will probably win by a point or two with the last second field goal. They'll win 19-17, and then they'll move up 4 spots and be ranked second probably because it's Notre Dame. But yeah.
Is it all because of last week against Toledo?
It's because
Is that what's
State took
swaying
them to
you?
overtime, and Florida State lost to Jacksonville State last week, and then they barely beat Toledo. Arguably could have lost against Toledo. You can't tell me it's a bad bet. Hook me up to a lie detector right now. I am telling the truth. Notre Dame has continued to piss me off for all 22 years of my existence. And this year, especially, has just been incredibly brutal to watch. Purdue, 7.5. Throw your mortgage on it, throw your car payment on it. Don't care. I'll pay off my student loans if I threw my whole bank account on this one, which I'm very tempted to do.
So we're going to switch to the NFL for my bet of the week. I already talked about the Steelers, but another one that I'm looking at is the Rams and Colts. LA's favored 3.5 on the road at Lucas Oil Stadium. Carson Wentz is back for the Colts. Matt Stafford looked good in his debut with the Rams last weekend. The Seahawks went into Indy and beat the Colts pretty easily last week. So I think, the Rams are still a very good team. I know they're switching. I'll give the time zone excuse. They're switching time zones, but I still think they're going to be all right. Stafford threw for over 300 yards. And, Wentz also did pretty good. Threw for 251 and 2 touchdowns. But, I still think the Rams are going to be a very good team on the road. And I think they're going to take this 1 o'clock on Sunday.
I like it, Ethan. Like it a lot. My second bet, my only other bet, didn't do 3, only did 2. Alabama covers 14.5 spread against Florida. Think it might be a game for a little bit. Maybe quote this later on and say what a doofus. They smeared Miami. All right, they've already played a team that people thought was good. Miami's 24th in the country, whatever. They beat them 44-13, week 1. You can say, oh, it was week 1. Oh, whatever. It doesn't matter. I think it's clear that Bama's Bama. They're going to cover 14.5. They might take a while to do it, but unless they play catastrophically bad or just do a meteor hits a couple of their players, but it's a small meteor that doesn't blow up the whole stadium. It just knocks out a couple guys on the sideline. I think Bama covers 14.5.
I'm going to have to agree with you, Nick. Florida hasn't been tested yet. I mean, we saw what Bama did against Miami. And they beat little old Mercer the week after. We're not going to get into that. But, they're proven. I mean, they proved they could beat a good team in Miami. And, moving on to this game, they are on the road. But still, I think they're going to get the job done one way or another.
They're going to get you. Ethan, you have any more bets?
I do not. Those were my 2. Steelers, Rams. Those were my only 2 today.
All right. Well, then, a final thought, perhaps, Ethan. It can be a quote, a thought. It can be anything that you want it to be as we leave the fans for another weekend.
College basketball is less than 2 months away.
Wow.
That's all I got to say.
That's all he has to say.
2 months away. I cannot wait.
Mike Krzyzewski's last ACC road game is against Pitt at the Pete.
Oh,
Ethan, I'll tell you right now, I'd be honored to attend that with you. Tickets are probably already sold out, or they're already $400 because scalpers bought them and are selling them on SeatGeek for triple what they paid for them. My final thought for this week is going to be, oh gosh, if we do this again next week, I hate to see what 2-0 Steelers lead to me doing. I hate to see it. I hate to see the hype I get on. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Saturday morning chat with Nick and Ethan. Leave a like, subscribe, say nice things on social media. Ethan didn't mean Steven Nelson, okay? He mixed up a couple guys. There's 20 years of Steelers history floating around in his head. He's going to say a wrong name once in a while. Don't hold it against the kid. I called him and woke him up and told him, let's hop on. All right? Don't hate Ethan. If you hate Ethan, you hate me. And I don't let anyone hate me, all right? Take care of yourselves and always remember to thank your local firefighters.